Okay, go ahead.
Can I tell you my funny story from last night?
Sure.
Okay. So I am known for talking in my sleep if you just wake me up at the right time. Apparently, I got a missed call um, from an unknown number. I I went to sleep at 9:30, woke up around 10:15 talking to somebody. I woke up talking to someone on the phone. The number was completely unknown. I had no idea who I was talking to. This person started telling me about a house that they want to find in Atlanta. They're like looking for a 3-2 or something. Um, and I just come to in the middle of the conversation. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Who am I speaking to? And they're like, oh, this is Breland from high school. I'm looking for a house. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, Breland, okay. Um, Breland, could you text me all the details and I will give you a call tomorrow? And she was like, okay, but next time, could you call me at like 6 p.m.? And I remember thinking like, what? But I was like, yeah, like I'll call you at 6. Um, Anyways, I got off the phone. I looked at the phone records. I called her in my sleep. She called me back. I had a missed message from her saying, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to call you. But I had called her back in my sleep. And I don't even know, I don't remember what I said. I just remember like coming to and being like, what in the world? Who am I talking to right now? Um, but
Wait,
yeah.
you randomly called somebody in your sleep and they want to buy a home?
Yeah.
I'm going to thank you for that laugh. I've been known to talk and walk in my sleep. My daughter sleepwalks. That's one of the better sleep talking stories I've heard.
Yeah, I just sent her a
Phenomenal.
message this morning. I was like, Breland, I'm so like I apologize for last night. I don't remember half the conversation, but I got your text. Thank you so much. Like I'll call you today. Um,
That's a good definition of
That is hilarious.
sleeping and talking real estate.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to advise you keep the phone a little further away when you're sleeping.
Yeah, that's also true, right? Rose has been
Yeah.
at it this week making phone calls, right? And that's what happens to your brain when you're developing and practicing a new skill is like you find yourself like thinking about it all the time, how to make yourself stronger, how to make yourself, more scripted on the phone and all this stuff. That's just hilarious. All right, now Rose, tell us about what you did 2 days ago.
Okay, so 2 days ago, I don't know if you guys remember, but in uh, Mega Camp, there was that girl that created like a Facebook group. And she had thousands of people in the Facebook group and like no realtors. And so finally, I was like, okay, like I wrote this down because this is something I wanted to do. And I haven't done it yet, so let me just do it really quickly. So I created a group called Cobb Connect
11.
based off of Cherokee Connect. For any of you that are a part of that group, it has like 20,000 people in it. But there was no Cobb Connect, so I created a Cobb Connect, and as of right now, there are, let me look and see. As of right now, there are 183 members since
A day and a half ago.
a day and a half ago.
And the cool part about that is this group can become so many different things, right? And it can become a lot of things at the same time also. And the potential is just unlimited. 183 people in like a day and a half, most of, 2/3 of that time has been in the middle of the night. Not that that would necessarily stop you, Rose, but
Yeah,
I
not
saw that
anymore.
last Tina, thank you. Right. I think that's just phenomenal. You've been at it this week. I'm proud of you. Good job. Good job. All right, you got to keep us updated on how that's all going. Okay. Did you want to add one more thing? Were you saying something?
I wasn't saying anything. I was saying yay.
That's amazing.
All right, awesome. All right, who else? Anyone else have any thoughts or anything they want to share this morning before we hop in? All right. Who has finished this? This is the fourth quarter GPS. You're probably going to hear me talking about this quite a bit over the next couple of weeks because it's that important, right? I showed this to my coach yesterday, and we kind of reworked a couple of ideas on here. But overall, we agreed that these are truly the fundamental pieces of your business. And one of the things that I think especially newer agents face is they come into the business and there's literally like tens of thousands of videos that you can watch. There's 100 different curriculums. There's more than one class every single day. It's hard to figure out what you should do first or what you should even spend time on at all, right? The reason why I've been on a kick lately about trying to make the complex more simple. This is making it simple. Even though it might not feel like it's simple, this is breaking it down so that you're focused on truly the most important task. You've heard me say many times that there's kind of two themes that you should be working on at all times. The first theme is the learning, right? The learning is basically, how to use the tech, how to present to people, scripts and dialogues, the market trends, the contracts, negotiation tactics, building rapport, all that stuff that you've got to learn. And the second arena is your database, right? So you can learn all that you want, but if you don't have anyone to share it with, you ain't gonna make any money, right? And if you go out and all you want to do is talk to people, yet you don't want to learn how to become more efficient and more productive and a better professional, it's going to be really chaotic and you'll probably get yourself into trouble, right? So every day you should have time that if I look at your calendar, I know exactly when you're pursuing business, right? When you're lead generating, and I know exactly when you have time set aside to become a stronger professional. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And for me personally, in my very limited experience and, obviously very green, I feel like that balance will change at some point. Like right now, I'm probably spending significantly less time on generating new leads as I am working on my skill set and presentations. I'm the kind of person, I don't like to do things poorly. If I'm going to do something, yeah. I want to be proficient. And for me, it's this fear I'm going to talk to a stranger and literally not know how to carry on a conversation and sound like such an idiot that my reputation will then be, okay, don't talk to this woman, she's a moron. She has no idea what she's talking about. And so I know that lead generating is critical, but I'm more focused on working with contacting all the people I know that's already in my database, as opposed to like growing it with, like, I'm trying to grow it more on social media with people that I know, second tier friends that I wouldn't normally have reached out to, and that way. If that makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense, and you're making a very your point is very true. I wasn't necessarily saying time spent growing the database, but time spent in the database, right? So time spent in kind of client creation mode, which is kind of one of the things I want to talk about today. So whether it's updating relationships or notifying people you're in the business, or just simply checking in with people, has maybe nothing to do with real estate. I would say that is an action-based client creation, time well spent.
Yeah, and growing it other ways too. Like I'm trying to update. Like I've loaded 100+ people in Command, but I'm like culling through all their social media to get more details about them, looking for birthdays to fill in and interests so that I can tag them for more relevant touches with them.
Right, and you have a more impactful initial conversation. Like, so for example, maybe they just had a child. Maybe they just had a child go to college. Maybe they just lost somebody.
Just retired. I have friends that just retired that I haven't talked to in years. That she and her husband both just retired. So I'm like, hey, so excited for you.
Oh, I saw that your husband just retired. How exciting! Tell me more about that. What are your initial plans? Like, what are you going to do right away? Right? Maybe they just bought a lake house or a mountain house or a house in a different city, or maybe they just did a renovation to their home. Like, find something unique about them that shows that you have been paying attention, and ask them what's up with that, right? Because not only do people love talking about themselves, but they also love talking about the things they post on social media. They're posting it so that it will generate talk.
Yeah.
Right.
They would have shared it if they weren't excited about it to begin with, right?
100%, right? So there are. I never found one that I really liked that much, and I haven't tried in a couple of years. So there's probably some much better ones out there. But there's some add-ons to Google or Gmail where you can when you start emailing somebody, it logs onto it searches all the social media platforms, right? So like I can see a little bullet come up of their LinkedIn profile or the Facebook profile, so that I can quickly say, oh my gosh, this is a new lead. Let me check them out on Facebook real fast. I mean, I think you should do that for safety precautions anyway, but that'll allow you to do more of an intimate exchange, rapport building right up front, and it'll give you an opportunity to feel a little bit more confident in that conversation. But overall, Marie, you're exactly right. You're going to have to get I would say get yourself to like 75% of where you would normally be comfortable doing something, and then just go do it.
So for me, it's like, it's not necessarily database ads as in new people, new contacts, but it's more of a depth of database than a length of database, if that makes sense.
100%. And I'll give you a statistic to, and this I think will be helpful for everyone as they're finishing this and as they're kind of moving it forward, is remember that the research suggests that 10% of your database, the size of your database, will transact every year. So if in your plan you want to sell, let's say 15 homes, you really need a database of 100. I'm not saying you can't do it without this, but statistically speaking, you should have a database of a minimum of 150 people. And so if you look at your database and you don't have 150 people yet, that's an important goal to you, then you should mix it between deepening the relationships you got and finding some more, right? If you've got a database of 350 people, you have a desire to sell 20 homes a year, you're probably okay for the moment on the database. You just need to go deeper. Make sense?
That's where, I mean, I feel like, so my goals are to add, is for database ads, but at the same time, like, that's not happening, but I'm comfortable with what I'm doing to strengthen my database.
You could look at what you're saying like almost completely the opposite, which is to say, I'm not saying you're right or wrong or anything, but you could say, well, hell, I'm a little shaky on all the things I should be talking about, so I'm going to go practice on the people I don't know, and then I'm just going to have real life conversations with the people I do know about what they're up to, and have those conversations be less about real estate, and then go get practice on the person who you've never met before, right? And then if you botch it, they're like, who is this woman? Didn't do business with her. Whatever, you're a stranger. See you later. I don't care. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else have any thoughts or ideas?
Bill, just a real quick question, because I was filling out mine last night. 1A, 1B, and 1C, the presentations.
Yeah.
Is that just getting to know them and creating it with our information in there? You don't need, or are you talking about an actual case scenario with these, with actual
what I mean by a listing presentation, and that really should read pre-listing package, not necessarily presentation. But so a listing presentation in my mind is kind of the system that you use to share your pitch with a prospective seller. That would include any of the collateral, graphs, contracts, kind of the flow of the meeting, right? Like first we talk about this, then we talk about this, then we talk about this, right? A needs analysis where you're asking them about their their goals and their motivation, and kind of get a framework for where they're at mentally as you consider getting this process started. That's kind of what I mean by does that make you more confused or less confused?
No, less confused. No, that helps. That helps. I don't know if you were talking about having an actual buyer presentation to a client by that.
Oh, no. I mean, you could certainly set that as a goal.
That would be great.
I created this intentionally as a editable document, right? So if that's something you want to put out there, is to say, I will have my buyer presentation done by the 15th of October, and I commit to giving this presentation to somebody by the last day of October.
Okay.
Right. And quite honestly, that could be a friend, that could be a neighbor, that could be your spouse, it could be anyone, because it's really just an information gathering session for the most part, right? And you could practice. I mean, you got a buddy that knows you're new. I mean, say, hey, look, I'm working on practicing my skills, right? I want to get really good at this. So could I borrow you for 30 minutes and let me share with you how I'm considering, chatting with buyers. I'll take you to dinner to thank you, anything like that.
Got it.
Right?
Perfect. Thanks, Bill.
Right. Who was I talking to yesterday about this? Basically having filling out a sheet like this and then having sharing your goals, right? I want to share my goals with X so that they can hold me accountable. And I forget who, I wouldn't have said their name anyway, but one of the people that I was speaking to yesterday in private coaching said, I'm considering sharing my goals with another friend of mine who's a business owner that likely does pretty similar things all day long, right? They work on getting their skill up, they work on finding new opportunities, they work on the current transactions they're in process with, right? And so they probably have fairly similar goals to running their business. Now, if we can create a win-win where I can add accountability to this person's world and improve the quality of their business while simultaneously they're helping me, now you know that this other person is that much more serious about their work, and they know you're serious about your work. So that's likely going to be a champion for the growth of your business. Does that make sense? You could also take that same idea and do that with referral partners and accountability partners. So for example, you can get creative with this. Let's say you want a script practice partner every day. Well, who's to say you can't have a script practice partner from 8 to 8:15 Mondays with the agent in St. Louis, and Tuesdays with the agent in Maui, and Wednesdays with the agent in Phoenix, and Thursdays with the agent in Louisville, and Friday with the agent in Boston, right? Now you've got yourself 5 people across the country that know you're serious about your work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, another cool idea, I haven't looked this up in a couple of days, so it may be different right now, but does anyone remember what the most common city is that is sending referrals to Atlanta? Remember, we can look that up in command.
I think it was
Does anyone remember what I told you?
It was Tucson, I think, somewhere in Arizona.
Yep. The top 3 are actually in Arizona.
Top 3 in Arizona.
Right. So you go get yourself a script practice partner in Arizona. Hell, you may end up with a referral. Make sense? Number 1 is number 1 is Tucson. Number 2 is Prescott, Arizona. Number 3 is Scottsdale, Arizona. Number 4 is Anchorage.
Anchorage.
Number 5 is a town called Sterling Heights, Michigan. I mean, we're not dealing with a huge quantity of referrals here, but it's interesting to see how these things change over time. Then Dallas, St. Louis, Orlando, Charlotte, right? So Atlanta is a very popular place, a destination place, right? So go find some opportunities, some referral partners in those areas, and you're going to earn the referral partner based on the fact that you are taking your work seriously and there's evidence of that. Is that something that you guys have an interest in, or do you think that's a good idea? You think that's a waste of time? Any thoughts on that?
No, I've reached out on mostly on LinkedIn, probably to about 25 agents so far throughout the country, and just to set up relationships like that, and hopefully it'll bear fruit soon, someday.
Love it. Love it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about oh, I'll give you guys another pop quiz. Who knows how many new listings, new contracts, and new closings there have been in Atlanta over the last 7 days? We haven't done this together in a while. Does anyone look that up still every day?
Yeah, new
All of them
listings is
together
nine-
or separately?
Not the whole Atlanta, no, just my area.
and new listings is 1986. What were the others you wanted, Bill? Pending?
Oh, I'm looking it up right now. I was just seeing, so new listings is 1992. This is in the last 7 days. Listings that have gone under contract is 1,175. And then units that have sold in the last 7 days, is 2,620. So I would make it a habit potentially to look that up every morning. It literally takes half of a second, and jot those numbers down so that you have something interesting to share when you're on the phone with them. Call with a purpose, right? Oh, well, you know, the election's coming up and coronavirus is out there and blah, 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 blah. I'm worried that the market's not moving. Wow, would it surprise you to know that just in the last 7 days, there's been 2,620 units that have sold? By the way, if you really want to know, yesterday there was 499 closings.
Bill, where did you get that information from?
This is on a little applet called Market Watch on FMLS. So it's on the, basically you can create like a custom dashboard on FMLS, and that's one of the ones that it like prompts you to do. It's called Market Watch. You can set up searches so you can look like just in area 13 or just in area 121 or something like that. But you can see number of new listings, back on the market, price increases, decreases. There's been 94 price increases yesterday. God, if that's not an indication of what's going on in the market, I don't know what is. Right?
It's on your homepage on FMLS.
Hey, Bill, how do you,
Exactly.
I'm on my homepage.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you guys, how can you customize that? Are you able to customize it like we do a save search that we send out to clients and actually have this automatically come to us via email as well?
I don't know if you could send it by email. I perhaps assume so. I don't know the answer to that question, but if you go to the homepage, do you see where it says Market Watch? And in the lower left, it says residential, and then below it says refresh. And then on the right-hand side, it says like today or 24 hour or 3 hours or 3 day or 7 day. And then right below it says customize.
You can't email it directly from there, but you could set up a search.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So remember, if you have a statistic, you don't want it when somebody says the market, how's the market? Let me give you an example of a good response, an example of a bad response. Okay. A good response would be I'm busy, or a bad response would be it's really busy. I'm busy, right? There's a lot of activity, I'm busy. Okay, so there's two problems with that comment. The first problem is it's not specific at all, right? It's good. What the hell does that mean? Right? That's a feeling. That's not a statistic. The more clear and definitive you can get with your answers, the more studied they believe you are. Right? First of all. So, hey, the market's incredible right now. In fact, 499 homes closed yesterday. Why do you ask? Right? I know we all get this feeling like we want to say, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. Well, what does that tell them? Well, maybe she's too busy for me. If she's busy, then maybe they won't have enough time to help me. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, a good response to that might be, hey, the markets it's amazing out there. In fact, there was 499 homes that closed yesterday. I'm having a lot of fun, right? I'm having a lot of fun working with my buyers and sellers. Now, who would you rather work with? The person who's having a lot of fun working with buyers and sellers, or the person who's really busy?
Both of these women.
Okay, who needs to put themselves on mute?
Take care of certain things. It's certain things I just don't even know.
As far as like,
okay,
what kind of things though?
If you can mute yourself, that'd be fantastic.
You know,
whoever that is.
Hell, I
Qantas.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Hold on.
Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, any thoughts on that?
On here.
Does that resonate with you guys? Your words are really important. Really, really, really important. I know you might think you're making you're impressing them by saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm slammed. I'm up all night writing contracts." Like, that may not be what the other person wants to hear. You follow that? Oh my gosh. Okay. Any
Well,
thoughts, questions?
also talking to some of my friends lately, I talked about not only like what I'm doing, but the different things that I'm doing for my buyers. So just saying, you know, some buyers, the market's easier, some buyers, the market's more difficult. And I said, I have one buyer within this range and I'm doing everything I can to find them a home because they go on the market in the morning and they're sold by noon. So I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this because I really want to help them. So I'm trying to help them find a home before it hits the market.
Heather, that's phenomenal. That's exactly what you should be doing, right? Hey, I'm in, coaching calls every day, learning the, best practices and tips and strategies on how to make sure my sellers get what they need and my buyers get what they need.
I always talk about I talk to my productivity coaching does this. And even with my current buyers, I say, here's a concept I want to work on. I want to see how you feel about it because I'm representing you. Let's get this together and let me run it by my productivity coaching team so we can make sure that it's really good before we put it out there. So like even that buyer need thing that I just did and I showed you guys, that's how I talked about that with my buyer.
That's exactly what you're saying is perfect. And that leads me to one more thought, which is one thing that Cody Gibson said during I think he said it during Mega Camp, or maybe I heard it on a different call. But so a client might hear Heather say that and say, doesn't she know what works and doesn't she know what doesn't work? And like, why is she like got to run all this by all these people, right? Well, the fact of the matter is that the market we've all pivoted. The market is completely different, and the way we interact with buyers and sellers and create a phenomenal experience for them is completely different than the way it was 6 months ago. What Cody said is we are all new again. Okay. So if you're a new agent today, then you should look up and say, I'm just as creative and focused and productive as that guy. They've had a bunch of experience in a market that doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so what? So we're all new again. So this is your opportunity, if you desire, to go and take market share. And just the fact that you're using the foundational pieces like MREA says, and then adding a little bit of creativity on top like Heather's doing, that's where the rubber meets the road. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, Heather.
Oh, no, fine. And I also told my buyer, hey, I'm also going to run this by your lender, because I want to make sure that the part that I'm saying at the bottom fits what they're feeling right now, because I don't know how busy they are. I don't know how long it's taking them to get things done. The market is very tough right now. And so I want to make sure that before I put this out, saying how many days till we can close accurately fits them, and that the wording is the way that they want it. And the lender actually had me change my wording in 2 different ways on that one simple phrase.
Do you guys see how powerful that is? See how powerful that is?
And so
Okay.
I feel like that way, the lender, I'm creating that relationship with them too, where I'm being a team player with that lender.
Yeah, I mean, everything we say and do like cascades into all these, like, what are the interpretations of it? What does it mean on the surface? What does it mean 6 levels deep, right? It's like when people want to work with people they have fun with, that they like, and that they know take their role seriously, right? If you give the impression that you're not all that fun to be around, or you don't take your work seriously, or you're, I'll get around to getting back to you. Like, there's a lot of talented people out there, guys, and people can see right through that nonchalantness. See what I'm saying? All right, let me give you one more thing to think about. Okay, just from a calendar perspective, to remind you about a couple things today from 12 to 1, Carrie Veal is going to be joining us for a little meet and greet Q&A. She's going to be talking about how she built her business. And for those that don't know, she will probably be a little over $400,000 in GCI this year. And I'm not trying to say, oh, she's great because she makes a lot of money. This is a woman that's been in the business for less than 3 years. Okay. So if you're looking at your plan and your business and saying, oh my gosh, those people that make, that kind of number of sales are, special or brilliant or come from the right place or whatever, it's possible for you too. Okay. And she's going to share, how she did it. And she is, obviously open to Q&A, and she's just an all around awesome person. She's on the ALC now. And she's just a huge cheerleader for our office. So she's going to be with us from 12 to 1. The launch mastermind will be today, and that will be from 1 to 2. Just as a quick sidebar, I will be away from my phone and email on Sunday too, in addition to Saturday. So the agent mentors, Kathy and Susan, are available, and like normal, Pam is available to help with any needs as well. So thank you for bearing with me on that. And next Monday, I want to review, just make sure I pulled this up correctly. Next Monday from 1 to 2 is going to be it's kind of like a success series, but it's going to be a little bit more workshopy. It's going to be with Paul Tully, who is, that's the person that Rose has been working with a little bit this week. He is just a phenomenal scripter, prospector. It's like nothing scares him, nothing pisses him off. He's just like a machine. Rose, do you want to add anything to that for a second? Rose, is she still here? Okay, so he will be with us on Monday from 1 to 2. 1 to 2 on Monday. And the next Wednesday, remember, is Bold 100. So I want you to be thinking this weekend about who you're going to be reaching out to on that day, or what activities you'd like to do that day to have an unusually high number of daily contacts. We've been doing this for about 4 or 5 months. And what it does is we've done it on the first Wednesday of each month. gets the momentum going for the month. Oftentimes I can set or at least initiate all the relationships and all the appointments I'm going to have for the whole month that day, right? So that's a day where we strive to have 100 conversations about real estate with people we know or don't know, or people we might meet out in the, in the marketplace. Okay. Anyone else want to add anything? All right. I'll leave you with a little line from Aubrey. Okay. It's always harder before it's easier. Okay. We're building great things here. It takes some time. If you are getting smarter every day, you're learning something you didn't learn, you practice something you weren't all that comfortable with before, and maybe you deepen a relationship with somebody that's in your world or create a relationship, you're doing what you need to do. You're planting the seeds. It's always harder before it's easier. Okay? Like I've told you guys before, nothing worthwhile is uphill. Wait, that's not the line. That's not that's not the best way to say it. What's the exact way to say it? Nothing everything worthwhile goes uphill. Right? And nothing automatically goes uphill. You got to push the thing uphill. Does that make sense? All right. I'm proud of each and every one of you. Please don't forget to update your numbers if you're behind there, and for any weeks in September. And I can't wait to announce all the records we broke. And I'm super excited to work with you in October. We're going to do great things. If you have any questions on this document, let me know. And y'all have a wonderful day. I'll see you at 12.
You too, Bill. So long, everybody.
Thank you.